Дорогі глядачі, вітаємо вас на українську телемережу «Контакт». І сьогодні маємо надзвичайну приємність вітати в нас Владику Браяна Байду, який є єпископом Східної єпархії Української католицької церкви в Канаді, який щойно вернувся з Риму. So, Владика Bryan Bayda, welcome to our show. And tell us, this was the Jubilee year of hope in Rome, I understand. So I think within the framework of that was your whole visit to Rome. You had the visit with the Pope, you had the Synod, visit with the community. So let's start with the very beginning. Did you get a feeling that the current Pope, Leo XIV, now we have somebody in the papal office at the top that understands Ukrainian community, Catholic and religious and national issues?
Yes, I was there a little bit earlier with Redemptorist bishops. There was 31 of the possible 60 Redemptorist bishops that came together, and we were there. It coincided with the Jubilee for bishops, as there are many different Jubilee dates throughout this year. And so we got to personally meet with Pope Leo XIV at that time. And then there was a pilgrimage of Ukrainians with Patriarche, Блаженнейший Святослав. And so we gathered, there was over 7,000 Ukrainian pilgrims packed into St. Peter's there. It was a wonderful, wonderful thing. And he spoke to all of us, and he recognized the hope that we need as we battle on in this war. It rages on. And so he personally greeted the bishops there. So I got to shake his hand a couple of times. Later on, there was a feast day, Saints Peter and Paul. And then as the Synod started, we went as bishops of our Ukrainian Catholic Synod on July the 2nd, and we were greeted by the Holy Father in a room that was set aside very near the papal apartments in the Vatican. So we got to see him a few times, and it was an excellent opportunity for us as bishops, as a synod, and certainly for me personally to meet with the Holy Father, particularly as a synod.
Bishop Bryan, you also have a personal message, a personal job, which is to be in charge of the Patriarchal Commission on Youth Affairs.
Yes.
And, yeah, that's a big job, and I commend you for receiving that commission. And maybe you could tell us a little bit how that was taken care of during the Synod, amongst let's say, other things that the Synod had to take care of.
Yeah, we could probably do a whole other interview just on that, but I'll just get some highlights. In 2024, the Synod in 2024 had me appointed as the head of the Patriarchal Commission for Youth Affairs of the Ukrainian Catholic Church. And so I had been in Ukraine 3 times in 24 before that happened. And then the 4th time that I went, with specific interest with this new appointment, I met with the Patriarch and the Commission in Lviv, and then I went and met other youth throughout the country in Kyiv, in Zaporizhia, in Ternopil, in Zarvanitsa, in Zazdrist. I did a retreat, so with the special leadership of Otec Mitrat Roman Demosh and his staff, Pomichniki in Ukraine, we were very busy getting things ready for a Roman youth for the Jubilee for Youth. And so, like I say, we could probably go on and on about that one, but yeah, I think we'll limit ourselves to maybe the Synod today.
Okay, so but before we get to the Synod, a few words about the youngest cardinal within the framework of Vatican today in history, and you're in charge of youth affairs. Is this cardinal young enough to be considered youth? I'm sorry.
I would absolutely say yes. You know, people are welcome to go online to a link called Catholic Hierarchy. And when you go there, you can find alphabetically the name of any of the bishops and the cardinals. And he's showing up at 45 point something, 45.5 years old. So that is the youngest cardinal that the Catholic Church has right now. And so from that perspective, yes, he certainly fits the bill. However, you know, it's interesting that he is a redemptorist. And so, as I mentioned, I met with the other redemptorist bishops of a possible 62 or 3, I think. There was 31 of us, and Cardinal Bychok, as bishop for Melbourne in Australia and Oceania, he was there, so we got to meet and chum around and you know, enjoy each other's presence. We asked a lot of questions, and he couldn't say everything that he wanted to, of course, but we found out that he had a really special atmosphere and experience with the conclave. And from a youth perspective, he's very aware of the war. Of course, he was born in Ternopil and served in Newark, New Jersey for many years, so he's very fluent in English. We had a really good exchange, and I think he has a good sensibility about what the Synod of the Ukrainian Greek Catholic Church wants to do, and how the Holy Father can probably help us with that, and how important it is to push forth the theme that we had. Mostly, it was about family.
Now, you know, within the framework of your job, youth affairs, and bringing the cardinal over here to Toronto, and we've been showing on the show the image of the cardinal inviting everybody to the banquet on September 11th. What is your vision, both for the visit and how it fits in to your vision, what you want to do for youth and for family going forward within the framework of our church?
It's a very good question, and anticipating that, I kind of lined up a bit of the resolutions that our synod had laid out. So, of course, the cardinal was there. He heard what I heard. There are different commissions within the synod, and we have one for family. We are, you know, we're making it last by giving it some teeth, by putting it as part of our canon law, you know, and so that it's got real good structure. And you know, if I may, if I can briefly quote a few of the resolutions from the Synod of Bishops that we have, that might best explain it. So,
please do.
Yeah, we have a title of social ministry, which is going to be entered into our canons, the Code of Canons of the UGCC. So it's an official, you know, ministry. And we have a pro-family policy and strategy that we're implementing, the appropriate pastoral care of the family, and the conditions of the war. So we looked at it at a church-wide, an eparchial, and a parish level, 3 different levels. And regarding the church-wide level, and I would refer to it in my own way as the church-wide family. So our church is a family in its sense. To entrust the Patriarchal Commission of the UGCC for family and laity affairs, we're looking at developing a program to support priestly families in cooperation with the Patriarchal Commission for clergy affairs. Okay? Continuing to conduct educational, practical seminars in eparchies and exarchates regarding the implementation of the UGCC pro-family policy strategy, so that it can be accounted for. And it's measurable that way. Holding a scholarly, practical national conference dedicated to pro-family and demographic policy issues in Ukraine. Developing a plan to disseminate the teaching of the Catholic Church on the family, and in particular using modern means of communication. So there are previous apostolic letters. There are previous ecumenical letters, that encyclical letters that were written by previous popes, and we're looking and reviewing those and seeing how do they apply to today. The systemizing and systemization and publishing of official media platforms of the UGCC that we currently have, and finding strategies and programs so that we can produce materials for our family ministry. On the eparchial level, and that's why I've invited the Cardinal to Toronto, there were some very specific things that the Synod was asking the bishops to do. Please, Bishop, put this in action. Get this going. And so that's what I'm trying to do ASAP. We want to adopt the pro-family policy strategy in our eparchy in accordance with the resolutions, and I'm not going to quote them all, but we're looking at an eparchial program course for immediate preparation for sacrament of matrimony. We have some in the eparchy already. We're going to be reviewing that and enhancing it. About preaching, encouraging our clergy and providing the material to charismatically proclaim the value and beauty of Christian marriage, the theology of the sacrament of the matrimony, the psychology of marriage, bioethical aspects of marriage, the gift of fertility and responsible parenthood. You've heard of Theology of the Body by St. John Paul II, Pope John Paul II. We need to review that and see the gems that are in there. The canonical and civil law have to be adjusted for marriage. We need to evangelize by establishing family centers, providing them with appropriate staffing and material resources. In a way, our parishes are kind of doing that, and other organizations in the eparchy that we work with, but we want to do that on behalf of the eparchy. We would like to conduct pro-family themed pilgrimages, retreats, seminars that would deepen the spiritual life of family members. Retreats for husbands, retreats for wives, for mothers, for fathers, or just family itself, to establish in a way eparchial support for pro-family movements and organizations, communities, ensuring their proper ecclesial formation. In particular, the approval of statutes that they may have, or enhancing those statutes by the prominent and appropriate competent church authorities. We would love to ensure the protection and promotion of family values on various public authorities and various levels in government. We would like to advocate for establishing those family values, because there are a lot of values that are really challenging the church values on family, and we need to look at those. Spiritual accompaniment and humanitarian support, particularly for vulnerable, struggling families, those who have been affected by the war, families of people who have died as soldiers, widows, orphans, those who have been lonely or displaced, the elderly people that are suffering because of that. These are all family issues for me, and the Synod saying we need to develop structure. We need to develop something that's permanent and something that is measurable, and going to look at the demographics of these issues. Provide spiritual accompaniment for priestly families, okay? Those who have lost a priest as a father or a husband. How do we care for those families? Orphans from the war, adoption, lost parents as a result of the war, searches, all of these things have to take place. There's a need to address these issues also at a parish level, which maybe we can leave for later. But these are the eparchial issues that I really take to heart, that the Synod has asked us to look at. And that's why, in a nutshell, we need a family and life office. I mean, that's not even touching on AI. That's not even touching on MAID and euthanasia that we're experiencing in society today. Loneliness is a great, great cause of that. And we really need to take a look at these psychological and emotional needs that have been intensified by the war. The material needs, they continue, of course. but so many of these issues that are less easily detected, not so easily detected, both in Ukraine and in countries where the people have fled, such as Canada. And so I really think my response is to establish a family and life office and to get a bit of a spark and a big bang to start that off. I think its timing is good for us, even though we're rushed to get it ready for September. I mean, it would be nice if this was 7 months away, but I really want someone like the Cardinal Cardinal Bychok, a Redemptorist, a brother bishop of mine as a Redemptorist, but then as a Ukrainian bishop, to come here who was at the same synod and speak to some of these issues. Notwithstanding others that we might invite to also speak about these issues, possibly from government, possibly on various levels.
Bishop Bryan, what you've mentioned is a huge, both wide and deep agenda.
Yes.
And it's actually pretty brilliant that as an action item to get everything started, you're inviting the Cardinal over here to give everything this
I don't
bright
want to
push.
take credit for that. I wanted to congratulate the Cardinal back in December, and the way things flow, and he had to get his job description kind of worked out and stuff like that. So by the time I got to speak to him, it was already late in the spring, and I said, "Can we nail down a date?" I just want to congratulate you. You're a Ukrainian Cardinal. Can we nail down a date where you can come and visit us here? And so that's what we kind of did. And then, of course, that really, the blessing of our Patriarch Sviatoslav to help us focus on the needs of families during this war. I mean, that is an invaluable contribution from our Patriarch Sviatoslav, from the Synod. And I can only say that the Mother of God was quarterbacking this one. She knew it was coming.
Very nice. So, ladies and gentlemen, дорогі глядачі, це розмова з єпископом Торонтонської чи Східної єпархії Української католицької церкви, Владикою Браян Байда, який щойно вернувся з Риму, зустрічі з папою, участі у Великому Синоді нашої Української католицької церкви і участі з нашою громадою. І тут всі тепер чекаємо приїзду і бенкету нашого нового кардинала, пана кардинала Бичка.
І бажайте на наш веб-сайт, єпархіальний веб-сайт, ми будемо мати, що ми поговорили щойно сьогодні. А я хочу пояснити більше і глибше, і по-українському я маю вам дати, або до людей, то є перекладання по-українському, щоб вони точніше розуміти, що ми поговорили.
Дуже добре, то всього доброго. І якраз тепер заграємо виступ і запрошення кардинала Бичка. А вам дуже дякуємо, Владико Байда. Слава Ісусу Христу, всього доброго.
Слава навіки.